Amici, questo signore politiciano di Stati Uniti, Roberto Kennedy Jr., nome suo, qualche giorno fa ha detto che gli Stati Uniti fatto fabbrica di biochimica in Ucraina e quello vero che Russia ha trovato quello informazione è vero. Vediamo quello video di informazione dopo.
Then that wouldn't be our business, but research has shown that the USA is the only country in the world that has biolabs in all the regions of the world, including Africa. In fact, it is reported that the US has over 30 biolabs in Africa and over 400 across the globe. Can you imagine that? 400 biolabs. Why do they need so many biolabs in Africa? What are they researching in these labs, and how do African governments allow the US to set up so many biolabs across the continent? These are questions that need to be answered. Since the beginning of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, it has become indisputably clear that the US has been involved in creating and developing biolaboratories throughout the world. The first US biolabs were established in Africa in the late 1990s to fight AIDS and malaria. But like we said earlier, the numbers have increased to over 400 units. When asked, the US would say that they are researching biological threats to the world and finding solutions to fight these threats. But in reality, they are simply using this as an excuse to research and create bioweapons that they can add to their already long arsenal of weapons. Just last year, before the Russia-Ukraine war, the Defense Ministry of Russia stated that the United States was using Ukrainian laboratories to develop biological weapons that would be spread by specially trained migratory birds and diseased bats. It was also said that the US was doing this under the guise of anti-terrorist projects and activities that were permitted by the Biological Weapons Convention. But guess what? The US denied it, and some blogs even claimed that Russia was spreading misinformation about the US. However, the documents obtained by Russia showed that the US military-funded labs in Ukraine had been creating biological weapon components and testing them on the population of the country. But that's not all. Robert Kennedy Jr., a US politician, confirmed this year, 2023, that the US truly has biolabs where they produce illegal bioweapons in Ukraine. This means Russia was not lying. In October 2023, the Russian defense military again raised concerns that the United States is allegedly transferring its dual-use biological research to Africa, where it's believed to be conducting illegal and dangerous experiments with potential bioweapon agents in African countries. Although the US has again denied.
Adesso ho capito perché Russia ha attaccato Ucraina, perché non piace Zelensky che ha fatto quello con gli Stati Uniti. Adesso vediamo un altro video che uno soldato di militari degli Stati Uniti dichiarando così che gli Stati Uniti governo è il numero uno terrorista del mondo, ma noi non sappiamo questa cosa, che gli Stati Uniti governo numero uno di terrorista del mondo. Adesso vediamo quello video che lui ha detto quella cosa di Stati Uniti governo.
Absolutely 100%, without reservation, I support the right of self-defense. Without any doubt, I would be involved myself in violent resistance if I were a citizen of Palestine or Iraq or Afghanistan. And if I were a citizen of the United States or Britain and someone from halfway around the world came into my country and started stealing my land and killing my family, guess what? I would defend my country as well. So, I absolutely 100% defend the right of self-defense, and I will never shy away from that. I will not join the long list of embarrassments who condemn terrorism while forgetting to acknowledge that the biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government.
Hamas doesn't recognize the right of Israel to exist.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like the African National Congress and Nelson Mandela refusing to accept apartheid and recognize apartheid. I say that Israel, if it wants to be a genuine partner in any kind of peace, needs to destroy its whole ideology of Zionism. Zionism that makes other people goyim, who do not deserve to be in the Holy Land. That's the real problem. If Israel will embrace every people, including Palestinians, equally, human rights respected across the board, then I would challenge Hamas to change its charter and say we will acknowledge Israel. But until that time, I see no difference between Nelson Mandela and Hamas in refusing to accept apartheid or the Zionist.
Grazie a tutte e due persone, signor Roberto Kennedy Jr. e un altro signore ultimo che ha dichiarato che Stati Uniti governo numero uno terrorista, signor Marina, grazie mille per informazioni.